You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast.
Good day, my friends. Do not adjust your speakers. Do not check the podcast. You're listening to the Built to Grow podcast. I am not Tim Lyons. Tim is actually out for the day. He is continuing working forwards on the summit that we have coming up. So Tim's doing a little bit of extra work over there. In the meantime, we said, hey, you know what? Randy, why don't you jump in? Why don't you take our listeners through an episode today? And so for the next, 10, 15 minutes, you're going to hear me discussing, I got a pretty decent episode lined up for you. So we're going to get into some of the things that I teach our private clients throughout our coaching program. And so today, my goal for you is to walk away with a few different nuggets and tangibles of some of the things that you can do in your day-to-day that are going to help with your performance as the owner of a business, as somebody who steps into the arena every day, or maybe not, but ultimately how to do so and how to win. And so before I get into that, a couple of things I just want to mention. Tim's fitness director here at Pulse Fitness, Zach, has finished his book. His book is now out. You can pick up a copy of that at directingfitness.com. I want to give Zach a big shout out. This is a huge, crucial position within the fitness industry, especially if you're the gym owner who wants that time freedom. If you, as Tim and I talk about consistently, the cash flow quadrant, if you want to step into that true business owner role, a fitness director or a GM or that role in that business is going to be crucial, because ultimately this is the person that's driving the ship when you're not. And so check that out, directingfitness.com. You can pick up a copy of the book there. Another huge shout out, actually. This one actually goes to Tim. I want to give Tim some props. He was named by Yahoo Finance as one of the top 5 fitness business coaches to work with right now. So if you're interested what it's like working with us on a private one-on-one coaching environment, head to pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. You and I will then have a call. We'll be able to discuss the program a little bit more in depth, dive into your business. We'll go over kind of where you are today, where you want to take the business, and we'll kind of help you develop a roadmap or a blueprint and help you get there if obviously. And so check that out. But for today, I want to dive into a little bit of accountability. Within our coaching program, we break up essentially the business into 4 areas. We talk about the delivery systems, which is essentially the service that you're providing. We talk about your ascension systems, which is your value ladder, the different levels of service, how to ascend your clientele up that value ladder while simultaneously providing them with a better result. Then we step into conversion systems, and this is your sales process. This is obviously crucial in any business. Sales kind of it's almost like the fuel in the engine, right? It just drives everything. It gets things in motion. So massive value when we get to conversion. And then at the end of the program, we're going to talk about your attraction systems. And this is where we dive into the marketing of your business, who you should be speaking to, what areas of the business or areas of the market we should be attracting. Are we going for that client who's ready to buy today with something like a direct response marketing ad? Or are we positioning information into the marketplace for more of that brand recognition? Are we trying to build a relationship with the clientele? Do we need that like, trust, and respect factor to come into place before we can actually ask for the sale? So those are the 4 areas of the business that we cover. But prior to getting into any of the business, into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day, our clients spend their first week working on the content that I've developed around their mindset. And when we talk about mindset, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, or it could be all over the place. People assume that some of it might be, the spiritual aspect of the mind, or the religious aspect, or affirmations and that type of thing. And while all of that stuff has prevalence, the way that I like to address the mind is much like we teach our clients the body. If we're going to gain size, if we're going to build muscle, or we're going to burn fat, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to put in the reps. And as business owners, and especially business owners in fitness, fitness is really easy for us to put front of mind. We traditionally are usually fit or have an active lifestyle. We have a desire in the industry that we serve, but we don't always take the same approach to our mindset or to the development and the growth of the mind. Well, as I say that, you might be asking yourself, what the hell does that mean? And it doesn't mean, we're not sitting here talking about physically growing a brain. We're talking about creating more consistency, more discipline. I'm talking about creating, in our coaching program, I call it an insurmountable mindset, right? The willingness to push on when the fun is faded. Are you the type of individual who's going to do the work when it doesn't seem like there's an immediate return? Can you chop wood and just continue to do so until the tree's ready to fall, type of thing? And so other individuals, successful individuals, they develop these habits. They're like systems of a business, but they're operating systems for our bodies and our minds and how we think. And so on a daily basis, I work on my mind the same way that we work on our bodies. How do I do that? The first and foremost, in my opinion, one of the most crucial aspects of your entire day is your morning routine. And so when you get out of bed, I would say the absolute worst thing that we could do as business professionals is grab our phone and go right back to where we left off yesterday. If you're the type of individual who gets out of bed and grabs your phone and starts checking email, surfing social media, trying to get a take on what's going on, you're instantly putting yourself in a reactive state for the day. Why is that bad? Well, I mean, with any sport or anytime you go to approach a situation, there's an aspect of being responsive that's beneficial, but the individuals who get further and get what they truly desire are those that are actually forecasting, and they're the ones that are taking action. They're being proactive as opposed to reactive. So if you're starting every single day instantly in a reactive state, then you're going to have to change that through some sort of physical change, some sort of activity to get out of that mindset and into that of the proactive mindset. So rather than being the type of individual to grab your phone and just start your day that way, I highly recommend creating a morning routine that is rigid. When I work with clients and we talk about, structuring a day or being disciplined, often it's met with resistance. There's this negative connotation around a schedule and managing your time or just structuring your day in general, I guess. And so the conversation and then the reality of it as we get into it and as I'm working with clients is, and I'm a big believer in it, is structure creates freedom. Much like habits, right? Just recently I was reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. Great, phenomenal book. Highly suggest that read. But he talks about the fact that individuals that look at habits and understand what a habit is doing is it's almost where your subconscious is taking over, and it's your operating system. You just do things that you typically do in a routine. Your body just acts and does them. It becomes, again, it's a habit, right? We all experience them, but we don't think about what they actually are or what they do for us. And so habits can be something that are extremely positive and take work or burden off of your plate, less thought, or they can be negative. I mean, we all know people that have bad habits, oral fixations. I'll be the first to admit I bite my nails like a fiend. It's something that even as a coach, I work on myself consistently. It's just they're old patterns that have been traditionally difficult to get over. And so it's the willingness to continue to put in the work that is going to create that change. But habits, creating the consistency in your day. So what that's going to do for you is as we can develop positive habits, as we can develop structure, we're going to create more freedom. And so that's really the point I want to drive home is in your morning routine, if you can put yourself into a proactive state through things like, I'll give you my morning routine, for example. Every single day, I know that I operate my best when I nail 4 different things. I read, usually about 10 pages from some sort of growth-oriented book, whether it be, mindset or personal growth, whether it be business focused. I've read everything from, copywriting books, digital marketing ideas. Well, digital marketing, it changes so quickly, but marketing ideas in general, understanding, the sales process better, understanding personality types, anything that can move the needle in my life or my business is something that I consistently find myself attracted to. I journal. So for me, this is my opportunity every morning to forecast my goals for the day. This is exactly where I'm going to lay out, my big 3 or 5 goals, objectives, the non-negotiables, the things that need to happen. I also kind of decompress and get any of those thoughts, anything that's just lingering on my mind, I put it into paper. While journaling, if you've got, again, you've heard me talk about it in the podcast in the past. If it's a goal, it's got to be written and dated. So journaling is a great way to get to turn dreams into goals by making them real. Put them on paper, put a date for completion, and now it's an actual goal. So take those large goals, break them down into more tangible micro goals, and make them a daily. Put them in your journal. Make it a list of things that you can accomplish on a daily basis. I meditate. Meditation is something that for a long time I had resistance around. I didn't understand or fully grasp how meditation really impacts our lives. And I can tell you, I'll be the first to admit that when I am consistent with my meditation, my capabilities, my creativity, the move into action, or when you're presented with an issue or a problem, not being stuck in the problem but instantly moving towards a solution, all of these things happen when I consistently meditate, much more consistently when I meditate on a more consistent basis. I've used the analogy in the past that without meditation, your thoughts kind of come through as if you were standing at a roadside looking across the street, and you're looking at traffic cross past, left and right. As the cars pass, everything's moving. It just becomes a blur. It's hard to picture or make out each make and model of those vehicles. And after meditation, after consistent meditation, and this is the thing, whether it's reading, journaling, meditation, anything that we're going to discuss as far as a morning routine or a consistent routine, you have to do the reps. And this is another big part, and I'll circle back to that. But with meditation, you might not feel anything for the first couple days or the first week. But if you stay consistent, that's when it blossoms. That's when it starts to become a tool. It starts to work towards your benefit. And so, it's like the gym. It's so amazing how the body responds so much similar or in similar ways as the mind. When we can train the mind like we train the body, it responds in a similar manner. Consistency with meditation, it slows down that traffic. It makes each and every one of those cars, you can see the make and the model of each of those vehicles. So the analogy essentially is that each of your thoughts, as they come through your mind, are much more useful. It's not just, I've got so many things running through my mind, I can't concentrate, I can't focus on what I need to do in order to be successful today. And so meditation slows it all down. It allows those impactful thoughts to come through, be recognized, and then you can utilize them because you've now drawn awareness to them. And then finally, a lift. My mornings, that is when I love to be in the gym. It's like my church. It's like a form of meditation for me. Put my headphones on, music up, do work and pay our dues, if you may. So between reading, journaling, meditating, and lifting, that is my morning routine. I know that when I execute those 100% as prescribed, then I find myself in a more consistent rhythm. You may have heard terms like you're in alignment, or you're operating in vibration. These types of things resonate in the personal growth world, or those that are focused on mindset. And as we continue to peel back layers of the mind and continue to discover new abilities and aspects through science, we're finding that a lot of these things are intertwined in ways that we never imagined. So I love that continued, kind of like diving down the rabbit hole. We've seen what the body can do amazing things when it's challenged, absolutely incredible things. And I think the mind is we're barely just tapping into its potential. So if we give that a little bit of attention, we can kind of stoke that fire, and then you also will receive some of those benefits. But ultimately, throughout our coaching program, I guess throughout all 8 weeks, but heavily focused on the first week, it's about creating those consistent routines. It's about putting yourself in the mindset to show up for work, to be willing to do whatever it takes to move the needle for your business. Now, it's really easy to say, just go out there and grind and just do whatever it takes, work around the clock. The Gary V's of the world that are going to tell you, just do the hustle. And there's an aspect of that that's beneficial, but at the end of the day, it's not a consistent, realistic, livable environment, right? You're going to burn out. You're going to need a recharge. I mean, our bodies and our mental states and everything need to be recharged. And so the way that I look at the mindset, and ultimately what we do with our coaching program is I want to help you develop the life with and without your business that you desire to have. Our belief when it comes to your organization is that you should have that desire to step into that true business owner role. That after being that self-employed position, your goal and your work should be building the systems into the business so that you can take work off of your plate, put it onto the systems, and then what does that create? It creates freedom. It creates opportunity. You can then use your time, which seems to be the one resource all of us have so little of. When you force a schedule, when you force a system, when you create opportunity for freedom, that's where your time opens up, or opportunity for time, that's where your freedom opens up. You then can spend your time on other things. For example, Tim, we've built the systems, we've put the team in place here at Pulse Fitness for him to step out of that self-employed role at the gym and work full-time in Profit on other people's businesses, helping other gym owners reach that same level of success and then be able to pass that on. So for him, that freedom, he wouldn't be able to do that if he didn't have people like Zach in place. If he didn't have things like the CLA doing automation in the background, making sure every lead is contacted, making sure every client's being nurtured, making sure that the accountability is happening every single time. These are systems that ultimately force the schedule, force the work to be done, that create freedom in the end. And so for you as a gym owner, as a business owner, there are going to be times where you don't want to do the work. Look at our situation right now. COVID, nobody would blame you if you wanted to close the doors, if it just didn't work out. Everybody understands, and it's perfectly okay. That's a real decision that you as a business owner have to make. You have to come to terms. Is it better for me personally and for the rest of my future if I close the doors on what's happening now and I move into something new? Scary as hell, but it's a realistic option. Now, at the end of the day, either direction that you go, my advice would be make a decision, take action quickly. And that's probably a whole nother podcast that we'll do is taking action. I can tell you that the gym owners that make the quick, decisive decisions and then move into action are the ones that move the needle the greatest, period. We've worked with dozens of private clients over the last few years, multiples of that. We've worked with hundreds and hundreds of gyms when it came to the marketing over the last 4 or 5 years. And the gym owners that are still in the same position as when Profit, started 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago now, I think. It's because they're the type of individuals that something is presented to them and they have to think about it for 6 months. And they have to come back and, these are the same people that opt into all of our material over and over and over time, but they never pull the trigger on anything. And unfortunately, you don't get the results of the work you're not willing to do. And so that's probably a little bit, it might sound a little harsh, but if that's you, use that as a little checkup from the neck up. One thing about being a coach is I can't want something for you any more than you can. Or I guess I could want it, but I can't get you that result any more than you're willing to do the work that it takes to get that result. And so a lot of it's met with tough love. And, I have the opportunity to call our clients out on their bullshit. I have the opportunity and at the end of the day, it's only because I want them to have the results they told me they want. And so, that's a little bit of a glimpse into kind of our coaching program from the mindset. There's some lessons and nitty gritty, but ultimately the willingness to do the work, the understanding that with a little bit of discipline, structure, systems, your life then becomes nothing but openness, freedom, opportunity. It doesn't come from daily affirmations. You could be a fan of The Secret. You could be a fan of Law of Attraction. You could wish it all you want. But if the opportunity presents itself to do the work and you don't, you won't see the result, period. And the willingness to push on, endure more pain, be willing to do the work no matter what, is what's going to make you go further than the guy next to you. And it doesn't happen, guys, when it's easy. Discipline is created in pain. It's created when it's difficult. That's when it matters. One of my favorite attribute of the individual is integrity. Integrity is not doing what you say you're going to do when everyone's watching. Turn around. It's when nobody's watching. It's following through with who you are when nobody's watching. Are you the same type of individual? Ask yourself those questions. So this is just a quick, little glimpse into our coaching program and obviously the mindset aspects. I'd love the opportunity to get on a call with each of you guys and dive into your business, where you are today, like I said, where you want to go, how to create the business that's going to allow you the life that you wish to have. And that's what we do. We take you from, typically gym owners feel like they're on that island. They're stuck. They don't know how to move to the next position. And some of it's a math problem. Some of it's the fact that you just need somebody in your corner holding you accountable, helping you make the decisions, and that's what we're here to do. So if you want to lock arms, if you're curious, jump on a call, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. Either way, guys, reach out. Like I said, I'm going to put some things in the show notes. Big props to Tim. Big props to Zach. Thank you guys for sitting through a solo episode. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to bring you guys more of these. We'll continue to come up with different tangible topics for you guys to take, implement, and change your lives. But as Tim always says, keep changing lives, and we'll see you on the next episode.